The saga of Central Park Karen continues. Yes, just when we thought it was over, here she comes, back again. In a Tuesday's episode of Honestly, a podcast by former New York Times writer and serial whiner Bari Weiss, the woman Amy Cooper, known as Central Park Karen, said she had no other choice than to call 911 when the birdwatcher Christian Cooper, of no relation, offered her dog a treat after he had asked her to keep the dog on a leash. So, hey, here, leash your dog so that it doesn't come up to strangers for treat. Okay, all right. And so now, here's what she told Weiss here. Podcaster Camille Foster. Quote, he's holding these dog treats in one hand and a bike helmet in the other hand. And I'm thinking, oh my God, is this guy going to lure my dog over and try to hit him with his bike helmet? And if I end up over there, am I going to get hit by this bike helmet? What? What? My God, she is really leaning into some of those assumptions. What makes you think, possibly, that he was interested in harming you or your dog? Especially when he was asking, hey, please put your dog on a leash. Like, what is wrong with you? Especially when, by the way, if you remember watching that video, she was doing more harm to her dog, trying to hold the dog back by the neck. Come on, man. Come on. But look, we know why. We know why she did this. Because he's black. It's the assumptions, right? But she's, no. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. I don't know that as a woman alone in a park, that I had another option but to call police. That's what she said. So here's what happens. So she screws up. She threatens to call the cops on a black man for asking her to do a simple thing, right? She gets busted. She gets charged with a hate crime, which was later dropped because she ended up going through some racial sensitivity classes. So much for that, right? And then decides to go on Bari Weiss's show to then triple down on the very thing that got her in trouble in the first place, which of course is saying, scary black man, I was afraid for my life. Because of course. And by the way, this is the perfect place for her to go. Because if you weren't familiar with Bari Weiss, she is literally the poster child of whining about being canceled, right? She cries about cancel culture. And so now she left the job at the New York Times, right? Because she's like, oh my God, wokeism, cancel culture, I'm going to self-cancel and write a 1,500-word screed about how terrible it is to be canceled. And then start my own crappy podcast. All right, well, again, in both cases, these white women canceled themselves and now are saying, no, what are you talking about? I'm the victim here. I'm the victim. Remember back in May, Cooper sued her former employer after she got fired, alleging that the company did not properly consider her fear for her personal safety before firing her. She also alleged in a federal complaint that Franklin Templeton, that was her former investment firm that she worked at, terminated her based on her race and gender while failing to properly investigate the incident. Now, here's what happened. You got fired and canceled for being terrible. I could understand if somebody made a mistake. I could understand, like, okay, woman alone in the park, I get it. Maybe you did fear for your safety a little bit. Now, of course, her fear was unfounded, but in the end, she made a mistake and, possibly put another person in jeopardy as a result of that mistake. I think, depending on how you react to that situation and what you do afterwards, most people would kind of be like, all right, I get it. You made a terrible mistake. You did something stupid and you put somebody in danger and you feel really bad about it, right? Because you are a woman alone in a park, and I get that, right? And look, there is implicit bias. Implicit bias is real. Implicit bias is something we all have to come to terms with, right? And realize that, of course, it's harmful to make assumptions about people due to race and sex. But this woman did not learn her lesson. She did not learn her lesson. And instead, she ended up joining a group of aggrieved conservative Karens decrying cancel culture and perpetuating harmful stereotypes against black men. You know what could have happened? You know what could have happened. She called the police. She said, a black man is threatening my life when he wasn't, very, very clearly. That man could have been shot and killed by the police. That's what would have happened. And this is at a time, of course, when a lot of headlines were being made about black men being shot and killed by the police, unarmed black men. And there's been a history in this country of situations like that happening, where white women would say, oh, I don't know, I was scared, black men, scary black men. And so the police come in, and not always the police, sometimes in the case of other white men, will go and kill this black person. As a result, this is what happens. This is why you don't call the police on black men who are minding their own business, or are telling you, in this case, just to follow the rules of the park that you're in. This guy is there saying, please put your dog on a leash. It's disruptive to the park. That's why you have rules here. You should follow the rules. And she says, no, I'm not going to follow the rules. And not only that, but I'm going to accuse you of violence, of threatening me, and I'm going to put your life in danger. And then I'm going to double down. I'm going to triple down on it. And I'm going to say, no, I really was scared. I was the victim. And, you know, that's why I shouldn't be canceled. That's why, I don't know, I should get my job back. I should do all this. I'm the real victim here. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.